Discretion is advised.
I also want to update you on a Channel 2 exclusive. A man wanted, caught with a gun, working as a security guard at a Northeast Houston apartment complex. The only problem, he's a convicted felon and a sex offender. And he spoke only to our cameras as he was taken away in handcuffs. Channel 2's Kathy Hernandez joining us now live from the city jail where he's currently being held. Kathy, how did officers catch this guy?
Well, good morning. It all started with a traffic stop, and that's when police say they found a gun on Sherman Brooks. He's been convicted of multiple felonies in the past, and he's also a registered sex offender.
I'm honest with the officers. I don't know. I mean, I've never had a problem with going to jail out here or anything like this.
But Sherman Brooks has a long criminal history, and Wednesday night, officers put him in handcuffs again. The arrest video you'll see only on 2. Police say they stopped Brooks for a traffic violation, and he pulled into a nearby apartment complex on Crofton and Tidwell. Brooks told officers he worked as a security guard for the complex. They learned he was a convicted felon, wearing a gun on his hip and body armor.
As far as the weapon, I mean, I accept responsibility for that, but here's my thing. The fact of the body armor, it was sold to me from a police store.
Officers also found a tin of marijuana in his car. Brooks told our cameras he confiscated it from a vacant unit. Starting in 2002, here in Texas, he's been convicted of multiple theft cases, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, failure to register as a sex offender, possession of a firearm by a felon, deadly conduct, and criminal trespass. Despite that, the apartment manager says Brooks worked to stop crime at the complex.
I'm shocked. I know what the background was, but he's helped in a lot of investigations for us.
Anybody can change and make a difference. It's not like I'm out here contributing to the crime rate.
And Brooks is now charged with unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. He also had 9 warrants for his arrest. He's still being processed here at the jail. His first court appearance has not yet been scheduled. We'll, of course, continue to follow this story for you. Reporting live in downtown Houston, Kathy Hernandez, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
I would not point no gun out, do no one shoot anywhere.
Okay. Nope. Okay, so you're going to open the window, slide it as far to your left as you can.
Tense moments playing out for a live internet audience as a man broadcasts his own surrender to police after a 10-hour standoff at a Virginia motel.
Heather Sullivan has some new information just coming into the First Alert Center. Heather, what was this guy wanted for in the first place?
Well, I can tell you officers had been attempting to serve a warrant on Clifton Newsome, a man who was wanted for rape and sexual assault. Now, this is some new video from the scene as this standoff stretched into the night. The suspect inside this Econo Lodge was broadcasting throughout the day on Facebook Live. And oftentimes he was heard proclaiming his innocence and asking to hear his mother's voice. At one point, he's even seen holding a gun to the camera. But just before 7:30, one final Facebook Live video as he negotiates his surrender live on the internet.
I'm not trusting this. I think somebody's going to try to kill me.
No one is going to hurt you. Get rid of the gun. And then you'll be able to come out and you'll be that much closer to seeing me.
I need someone around so I won't get shot. I won't get hurt.
You got this. Open the door. Throw the gun out, slide it out to your left as far as you can. Okay, now listen to that officer. I'm right here with him, Clifton. You're doing fantastic.
Anthony, you're doing a perfect job. You're looking at me.
Good job.
I can see that. Look at me. Only
doing great.
What an amazing negotiator. The feed ends just a few moments later. Norfolk police then tweeted this. They're calling it a peaceful resolution, and they're saying it was a great job by everyone on the scene. For now, that's the latest on this in our First Alert Center. I'm Heather Sullivan, NBC News.
This hair salon was too afraid to speak to us on camera, but she tells us last week a man came in and tried to rob the place before taking off in this direction. Police want you to look long and hard at this man in the green hoodie. They say he tried to rob Miriam's hair salon on Night Arnold last Monday, insinuating he had a weapon as he ordered the salon's owner to the back of the store.
That's kind of creepy, you know?
The owner tells WREG she didn't get a good look at whatever it was the suspect was holding. She thought it could be a weapon. A single mother fearing for her children's safety, she didn't want to be interviewed on camera should the suspect be watching. Can you imagine if you were that woman when this was happening?
I don't know what would I do.
The woman ran and called police. The suspect ran as well, and in a way, he's been running ever since.
I hope they catch the guy, so that's not good for all Memphis, you know.
And it's still not clear if this guy actually had a gun. The owner says she doesn't know, but if you know anything that could help police track him down, give them a call. That number's 528-CASH. In Parkway Village, Luke Jones, WREG News Channel.
Police say a 19-year-old trusted to take care of his girlfriend's children could not keep his story straight when questioned about a toddler's severe injuries. That little girl died over the weekend. Her mother's boyfriend is in the Irving jail, accused of abusing the child. Fox 4's Deanna Zoga is live tonight in Irving with more on this investigation. Deanna.
Heather, police say there was a 6-month-old boy in the home who also had minor injuries. Another 3-year-old girl in the house did not appear to be hurt. Those kids and their sister, 17-month-old Olivia Kangemi, were in the care of Alante Edwards while their mother was out of town. And police tonight do believe that Edwards caused the injuries that led to Olivia's death.
Photos capture the sweet smile of a precious toddler whose short life ended over the weekend. An arrest warrant affidavit lays out the toll taken on Olivia Kangemi's little body. She was rushed to the hospital with bleeding and swelling in the brain, bruises on her forehead and chest, healing rib fractures, and indications of abdominal trauma. Police say Alante Edwards was home with the child when he called 911 last Wednesday.
I can tell you and the world that my granddaughter, when she passed away, had a shoe print going across, or what appears to be a shoe print, going across her left temple and her forehead. That's all I can say. We don't know.
Karen Kangemi, Olivia's maternal grandmother, said Edwards and her daughter are living together. And Edwards is the biological father of one of the children, a 6-month-old boy. Police say the infant also had minor injuries, including a bite mark to the cheek. An affidavit says Edwards tried to explain it away, quote, because that is what you do to kids because they're so cute. But Irving detectives say Edwards' story kept changing.
Fairly quickly, the officers grew suspicious because the story just didn't seem to quite make sense for the severity of the injuries.
After spending days on life support, Olivia passed away over the weekend. Her mother, Jennifer Kangemi, says the family donated the child's organs.
She can live on through other children, and she helped about 3 to 4 kids already, and it was a very hard decision, but I'm glad, 3 to 4 other kids, are living because of my daughter.
Kangemi didn't want to answer questions about whether there was previous abuse in the home or any red flags before Olivia's life was lost.
She was the most sweetest, smart, beautiful little girl I have ever seen in my life. I'm grateful I did get to at least spend some time with her.
Kangemi's 2 other children, 6-month-old and 3-year-old, are in foster care right now. CPS said they had no previous contact with the family, no previous investigations. Irving police tell us they were called to the home over a domestic violence complaint a few days before Christmas. Edwards was accused of scratching Jennifer Kangemi, but police say there were no children involved in that incident. Back to you, Heather.
Anna, what's next in all this? Will Edwards face more charges, upgraded charges? What's next in that investigative part of it?
So right now he's being held on 2 counts of injury to a child for the 6-month-old and also Olivia Kangemi. Police say they are working to upgrade those charges. Right now, they're waiting to hear back from the medical examiner. The medical examiner will try to determine exactly what happened to Olivia. Remember, that affidavit said it appeared that she had some rib fractures that were already healing, so the medical examiner would have to time those out and figure out what happened to her, make sure there's no one else that needs to be held accountable. Back to you.
All right, Deanna, thank you.
Knelt down then and began to suck on her toes.
Yeah, you heard that right. It's what police say happened in public at the Franklin Park Mall. Now they want more potential victims to step forward. It's a bizarre story that has some of us doing something of a double take, but police say they're taking it very seriously. A teenager gets targeted while working at a store at the mall. The man in question ended up getting his hands on his hands and feet and then sucking on her toes. Michelle Zapata spoke exclusively with the victim's mother, now on a crusade to make sure that this never happens to anyone else.
What happened to Melissa Portella's daughter after working here was traumatic. But after she took to Facebook to warn others, she says more women came forward, explaining their run-ins with this same man. And what happened to them was far worse. Just before Christmas, Melissa Portella's 18-year-old daughter called her and asked her to listen to her whole story without saying a word.
I was stunned, completely stunned.
It was this man, Joseph Jones, described as a well-dressed, engaging man who complimented the teen on her shoes.
He asked to see her shoes because he said he liked her shoes.
And then subsequently ended up sucking her toes and her foot.
Portella got her daughter to file a police report, but still decided others needed to be warned.
His MO is to watch women at retail.
She printed these flyers and began passing them out to managers at stores in the mall to warn them about what police say this man did to her daughter.
I have a responsibility as a mother, and I also feel a responsibility for the other women.
But Melissa was asked to stop by mall security.
No matter how good your intentions are, you still have to obey somebody's wishes on private property.
And she didn't.
And I flippantly said, well, you're going to have to arrest me to stop me from warning these women.
They did, though a minor setback in her mission, then a victory. Police were able to catch up to Jones and arrest him, and they believe he may be linked to at least one other similar incident.
Right now, certainly his behavior could be considered odd. I'm sure that to his victims, concerning. So for that reason, we want to make sure that we got him into custody.
And like police suspect, Melissa tells me she knows he has other victims out there. A post on her Facebook page has flooded her page with comments and private messages.
With absolutely horrific stories. And I knew that this man was escalating his dangerous behavior. I could not keep silent.
Joseph Jones is now out of jail and back on the streets after posting bond. Melissa Portella does believe that he can remain behind bars, but only if women have the courage to come forward and report their situation to police rather than just on Facebook. Reporting tonight, Michelle Zapata, WTOL 11.